These are my top 3 chest exercises. The first one is the classic, the one that everyone wants to do, determines your strength, is the flat barbell bench press. Have a little bit of arch on your back. Shoulder blades are tucked in together, feet planted firmly on the floor. You want to have your arms about a little over shoulder width apart, and you're really letting the bar touch your chest as it goes up and down. Nice little back incline. The second one, and this is my personal favorite, is the incline dumbbell bench press. Similar setup. Back's going to be a little bit curved. Shoulder blades going to be tucked close together, and bring those dumbbells till they touch your chest, and making that nice J shape to where they're further out when they are on your chest, but you bring them together at the very top. Get a nice deep stretch as you go down. You can also do these flat as well. Finally, the chest fly. This is what gives you that nice inner indent in your chest. Pushing those hands together, tucking those shoulder blades in. You know, a nice deep stretch. And usually I set these a little bit further back than I would, just to give that extra stretch when you do them. These are my top 3 back exercises, starting with the chest supported row. There are multiple ways you can do this. I'm using this with dumbbells because that's what most of you might have. I'm starting with my chest on a bench of some sort at an incline, and really dragging those dumbbells, getting a deep stretch at the bottom. All you can see, my shoulders are rolling forwards, and pinching those shoulder blades together at the very top with a hold. Very similar to the seated cable row. You can kind of see my lean forward. This stretches the back and the lats, and when I bring my shoulder blades together at the end, you see that deep hold. This is what's really going to strengthen the back. You can see my back muscles moving near the scapula. That is me pinching those shoulder blades together and really try not to swing. This is a nice controlled back and forth so that you really get a deep stretch on the way up and when they're together. The final one is the barbell bent row. This can sometimes be a little bit different. There can be some swinging involved. I love doing a Smith machine. It keeps a nice path. I can brace better with my core. And I also feel it a lot more in my back when I do this. Again, deep stretch at the bottom, pinching those shoulder blades together at the top. These are my top 3 back exercises that hit my lats. The first one, you already know which one. It's the wide grip pull-up. This will hit your middle and lower lats. If you do a neutral grip, as you see here, that's going to hit more of the bicep and the upper lat. You can kind of see how that changes. Already my lats popping out. Get even more of the lats. I do a lat pull down. Again, starting with a wider grip will get you more of the middle and a little bit of the upper lats. With a wider grip, a little bit of a lean back and a deep stretch at the top. You see how my arms are raised up like that. If you do a closer neutral grip, hands are almost together, you can see, then that's actually going to hit the very upper lat and a little bit of the middle back. You see my arms stretched at the very top. That gives my lats a nice stretch, and pulling down at the bottom to really engage those lats even more. These are my top 3 shoulder exercises, starting with the dumbbell shoulder press. The reason I prefer this one is because you get a deeper stretch of the shoulder at the bottom. You're able to go lower than if you were using a barbell. Also seated, it takes away some of the bracing from the core. You're still bracing with your core, of course, but you're able to focus more on the shoulders and giving that your all. Also, the lat raise. This hits the side of the shoulder. Usually the dumbbell shoulder press hits the front and the side. This will hit the side only, rounding out those shoulders, giving a nice circular look. And finally, it would not be a shoulder day without rear delt cable flies. This is going to hit the back of the shoulder and also a little bit of the very upper back near the shoulder blades. This gives you that full round look that you want in the shoulders. Hitting those 3 heads of the shoulder is very important if you want proportional rounded shoulders, as we in the fitness industry like to call it, those good looking boulder shoulders that we all want. These are my top 3 bicep exercises. The first one is the seated dumbbell curl. This is where I get a slight bend in my elbow every time I bring it down. And the reason is because this keeps tension on the bicep. And this has really blown up my biceps at the top. Bring the biceps close to my chest and always lower them down slowly, keeping that bend in the elbow. The next one is the dumbbell hammer curls. This is where my palms are now facing inward. Very similar thing, a little bit of bend in the elbow, bringing them up to my chest and slowly lowering them down. This gives you a nice wider look to your bicep. And finally, we have the preacher curl W bar. You can do this with an already preloaded W bar, or you can add plates to it. And this really hits the short head of the bicep, not locking your elbows out just for safety, but leaning forward a little bit. And this really just targets specifically the bicep. There's no real way to cheat on this. Blows up your biceps. These are my top 3 tricep exercises. The first one is a tricep pushdown. I do this with a V-bar. You get a nice hold and deep stretch at the bottom, hitting one head of the tricep. You can also do this with a rope. Notice how at the bottom I'm kind of branching it out to make a V shape. That just adds a little bit of stretch and tension to the tricep. To hit the other side of the head, I do the tricep extensions this time. I'm using a rope, keeping the rope together at the bend, and then when my arms are extended, almost having out as a V shape. Doing these as a superset are really going to burn those triceps up. And the last one, which shows probably the most tricep strength, is these tricep skull crushers. We have a barbell over your head, bringing it close to your head. Elbows are bent at the bottom, but you flex those elbows at the top to allow that little rest period. Notice how my arms are always slightly at an incline to give you a nice deep stretch once you're done. These are my top 3 quad exercises. Starting with the gold standard is the barbell squat. You want to have your legs shoulder width apart, butt's going to be sticking out, back's going to be nice and straight. Trying to go at least parallel with your legs, having your knees bent parallel to the floor at about a 90-degree angle. This is also going to hit the quads and the glutes pretty well. This is the best compound exercise if you really want to grow your legs. Right after that, if you really want to kill your quads, is the hack squat. Very similar to the barbell. You want to get your legs at least parallel to the ground, working your glutes, quads, and calves. This will also burn yourself out too. I feel like I can get a bit lower on the hack squat than I would with the barbell. And finally, this targets more so the hips, and a lot of the quads is the leg press. Almost like a squat, except this time your body's fixed and your legs are doing the movement. Try and get a nice 90-degree angle on your legs. I'm going to put my hands there so I can really feel the quad muscles moving as I push. This is a great way to add a lot of weight and really work those quads. These are my top 3 quad exercises. Starting with the gold standard is the barbell squat. You want to have your legs shoulder width apart, butt's going to be sticking out, back's going to be nice and straight. Trying to go at least parallel with your legs, having your knees bent parallel to the floor at about a 90-degree angle. This is also going to hit the quads and the glutes pretty well. This is the best compound exercise if you really want to grow your legs. The best way to build your calves are by doing calf raises. This could be standing or seated. Really, it's just elevating the balls of your feet and slowly lowering and raising your calves. Give that nice tension, nice stretch. The best way to build your glutes is by a hip thrust. This is usually laying down, your back supported by a pad, and you're really just moving your lower body into the air, squeezing your glutes at the very top, going as low as you can. This gives you a nice deep stretch, especially on the way up, and that 1 second hold at the top really activates. Welcome back to another video, Fit Geners. Today we're going over the top 3 hamstring exercises. It's going to be the back of your leg, right behind the quad. Always starting with the best compound exercise for hamstrings is the RDL. You want to have your back straight, butt sticking out a little bit. Knees can be slightly bent. And I prefer barbells because you can really drag a path with the barbell across your shins, up your quads. I prefer Smith machine just because it allows for a more straight path, a little more stabilization. Following that up is two variations of leg curls. The first one is the lying leg curl. It's where your heels are right on the pad and you're curling up till the pad touches your butt. Nice squeeze at the top of that. Toes pointed out as you are working that. The one that is the superior leg curl, most would agree, is the seated leg curl. This is where your heels are on the pad and you're bringing it till your legs are 90 degrees, or at least your soles of your feet are parallel to the floor. And you get a nice deep stretch. Notice how I'm leaning forward. You're able to hit the hamstrings a lot better. And the last few, I usually brace myself, just get that extra rep or two out. Here are my top 3 ab exercises, starting with the hanging knee raise. You can also do this as a hanging leg raise with your legs straight out, but I'm not that flexible. With the hanging knee raise, you're just bringing your knees up to your chest with a brief hold and really bracing with your core. The other one is a crunch. I can do these decline. This is a flat crunch as well. Pretty self-explanatory. Doing the crunch, I use a medicine ball or kettlebell usually, holding that weight up, bracing with your core once again. And then to tackle the love handles or the obliques, I'm actually doing oblique twists. Having nice controlled movement, getting nice and low on each side to really feel that deep stretch impact. These are the top 3 abs. Now go after it.